Good evening. We're going to call to order the Finance Committee meeting for September the 20th, the year 2021. If we'll stand at this time, I'll lead us in the invocation, followed by the flag salute. Shall we pray? Dear Lord, we come thanking you once again for the gift of another day. Thank you for all your blessings that you bestowed upon us in this day. Just ask that you would just look upon our community, bless our community as we're going through a pandemic. Just bless our elderly people, the young people, and all those who are suffering with the coronavirus. Just ask that you would look upon the city leaders tonight as we come together in this meeting. Just ask that you would touch our hearts and that all that we do will be ordered in your will and in your way. These and many other blessings we ask in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Flag salute at this time. Salute, pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The agenda items at this time. Item number 1, please.
Consider approval of Finance Committee minutes of August 16th, 2021, or take other necessary action.
Reviewing of the minutes, are there any corrections, additions to our minutes?
Move for approval.
Second?
Have a motion and a second to approve our minutes. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Tracy Hoos.
Yes.
Tracy McGee.
Yes.
Stephanie Morgan.
Yes.
Alex Reynolds.
Yes.
Jamie Stout.
Yes.
Ivory Van.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed.
Yes.
Mayor Marlon Coleman.
Yes.
Item number 1 passes. Item number 2, please.
Consider approval of claims for all city departments August 7th, 2021 through September 10, 2021, or take other necessary action.
Do we have a report from the purchasing committee?
Yes, the purchasing committee did meet this afternoon, and we approved all the claims, so I move for approval.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to approve our claims list. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Tracy Hoos.
Yes.
Tracy McGee.
Yes.
Stephanie Morgan.
Yes.
Alex Reynolds.
Yes.
Jamie Stout.
Yes.
Ivory Van.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed.
Yes.
Mayor Marlon Coleman.
Yes.
Item number 2 passes. Item number 3, please.
Consider approval to apply for, and if awarded, accept the 2022 Oklahoma Emergency Management Performance Grant in the amount of $25,000 or take other necessary action.
Mr. Miller?
Yes, Mr. Evans could not be with us this evening. I do want to present on his behalf. This is an annual grant the city receives for emergency management through the state. We do have a match that we apply to that $25,000 from the state. It is something we budget for every year, and we do recommend approval, and we'll be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Any questions for Mr. Miller?
Move for approval.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to approve this agenda item. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Tracy Hoos.
Yes.
Tracy McGee.
Yes.
Stephanie Morgan.
Yes.
Alex Reynolds.
Yes.
Jamie Stout.
Yes.
Ivory Van.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed.
Yes.
Mayor Marlon Coleman.
Yes.
Item number 4 passes. Item number 5, please.
Consider approval to award a contract to SVC Enterprises LLC in the amount of $80,000 for the exterior rehabilitation of 4 structures funded through the Muskogee Rehabilitation and Revitalization Program, or take other necessary action.
Yes, Ms. Callahan.
Thank you, Chair and committee members. This is the contract to award to SVC Enterprises LLC, the last of the houses that are in the Area 9. There are 4 houses in this bid packet, and they were the only bidder. We did send out the bid packets to the other qualified, pre-qualified contractors, but they have done excellent work, and staff does recommend approval.
Move for approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
Yeah, ma'am, we recognize.
Yes, sir.
Yes, Ms. Callahan. I hope next time that you bring some pictures of that one on North 7th. Before I came to council tonight, I went by and looked at that. I don't know if they're through painting it, the trim.
They submitted an invoice, so I need to go and check. And what I wanted to wait on was having our inspector that's outsourced, and he's really busy. He comes from Owasso to come and do our final inspections and then make the presentation of those last groups that we've had, the befores and afters. So
That house
I was
is-
having to wait on that. That was a total rebuild of a roof, so they did
I
a
tell
good
you,
job.
it looks magnificent. It really does. I'll turn the floor back over to Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
Ms. Callahan,
Yes.
we can't do this tonight, but can you and Mr. Miller coordinate a way to find out what would be projected cost if we were to keep doing homes in different areas?
Yes, we can. This was what we had just, when we initially did the program, identified that there's a 20,000, up to 20,000 for exterior repairs. You could do more for less if you did just a roof, but most of the majority of this money is going towards roof with the building costs that they are right now.
Right, and I'm only curious because the
Yeah.
program was so popular, and it did miracles in a lot of recessed neighborhoods. And so I'd just like to know for future reference, if we were gonna replicate what we did to go forward and do more, what would that cost?
Okay.
Thank you.
Tisha, I think it would probably be worth the conversation we had upstairs. This is not the end of it, and you might want to tell
Yes,
them.
thank you for that. I was going to do our plug again to get our applications in, but we do have Area 10 applications that are open until October 4th, and that is from 24th to 32nd, from Military down to Hancock border, the city limits there, and they can get the applications online, or they can call our office, the planning department office. But we're continuing Area 10, and we should be able to do, we hope, with funding, to do up to 25 in that area.
Thank you.
Roll call, please.
Tracy Hous.
Yes.
Tracy McGee.
Yes.
Stephanie Morgan.
Yes.
Alex Reynolds. Jamie Stout.
Yes.
Ivory Van.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed.
Yes.
Mayor Marlon Coleman.
Yes.
Item number 4 passes. Item number 5, please.
Consider approval of a contract with Cook Construction for the installation of a new parking lot to be located on the west side of the Martin Luther King Building, or take other necessary action.
Mr. Miller?
Yes, Chairman and members of the committee, we have known that there's a need, probably ever since the first day we opened the Martin Luther King Center, there wasn't enough parking. The voters approved funding for additional parking at the King Center through the CIP vote, and so we've had the project engineered, put out to bid. What you see is the result of that. The bid result was close to the engineer's estimate. We did only get one bid, but it is from a reputable pre-qualified contractor, and it is near the engineer's estimate, so we do recommend approval with moving this forward. We do propose that if there is such a motion, that is also contingent upon the King Center Board, which meets later this week, also approving before it comes back to council.
Move for approval.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Tracy Hous.
Yes.
Tracy McGee.
Yes.
Stephanie Morgan.
Yes.
Alex Reynolds.
Yes.
Jamie Stout.
Yes.
Ivory Van.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed.
Yes.
Mayor Marlon Coleman.
Yes.
Item number 5 passes. Item number 6, please.
Consider approval to award bids for mowing projects within the city of Muskogee, or take other necessary action.
Mr. Miller?
Yes, this is also scheduled for our special call meeting, and I would welcome the input from this body, whether they'd like to delay this or postpone this item until the special call meeting later in the evening, or if we'd like to present now.
I'd probably not like to delay, because I've got some questions now.
Sure.
One of the questions I have, and I asked this to Chairman Reed, all I need to be certain of is that we're basically not trading lawnmowers for lawnmowers. So in other words, we're not going to get the exact same amount of mowing done. And I think most of us need to just be reassured we're either doubling our capacity or getting more bang for the buck.
We're getting significantly more bang for the buck. We'll keep our same city staff that we currently have, but we're going to have these 11 or 12 properties will be done by outsourced mower. So the existing staff with the existing mowers, the equipment that we have, we talked earlier in this process, we've got about $1.5 million worth of mowing equipment and staff to run it. Those people are going to keep doing what they're doing, but they're going to have fewer properties to focus on. They'll be able to mow more frequently and at a higher quality.
So is the recommendation, Mr. Chair, that we just scratch and go to special call?
Roy?
Or do we need to approve through?
You can,
Either's appropriate.
either is appropriate. Whatever you do now is not going to be final, but it would be if you were to take action at the special call.
Correct.
So you
So
wanna just-
I would take
We
no
can just go to
action.
special call.
Okay.
Yeah, I would take no action on this item, move on, and then.
Okay, so what's going on this one, for the sake of clarification, This item will show up on the special call agenda, which is coming up. So for the Finance Committee, we're going to scratch this item. And with that being the case, that is our final item for our Finance Committee.
Welcome to tonight's Public Works Committee meeting, September 20th of 2021. Item number 1, please.
Consider approval of Public Works Committee minutes of August 16, 2021, or take other necessary action.
Move for approval?
Second. Discussion? Roll call.
Tracy Hous.
Yes.
Tracy McGee.
Yes.
Stephanie Morgan.
Yes.
Alex Reynolds. Jamie Stout.
Yes.
Ivory Van.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed.
Yes.
Mayor Marlon Coleman.
Yes.
And the item passes. Item number 2, please.
Hold a public hearing and take action on the approval of ordinance 4129A to rezone property addressed as 922 North York Street, being more particularly described in the ordinance from R1 Single Family Local Commercial to C1 Local Commercial, and if approved, authorize staff to revise the official zoning map of the city to reflect said change or take other necessary action.
Ms. Tish Callahan.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This is a request from the Northeastern Oklahoma Health Centers edition. It is for a lot this is the rezoning one, sorry. Back up to the rezone. It is to rezone the property. Address is 922 North York from the R1 Single Family Residential to C1 Local Commercial. The front property on York Street is already zoned C1. The eastern 3/4 of it is zoned the residential, and we're getting it all into compliance for the medical office that is proposed to be built. This is the site you'll see, or not, on the screen. And this is from across the street, it is zone C1 Local Commercial, and then to the east is the R1 Residential. To the north is C1 Local Commercial. To the south is C1 Local Commercial. Then, as it shows there, behind the property is zoned residential. To the west is North York Street, and then we have C1 Local Commercial and General Commercial. It is currently zoned R1 residential, and it will be requested, it's being requested to be C1 Local Commercial, and it's to allow for a medical office to be developed. And I'd like to introduce Mr. Rosenthal. He is the CEO of Northeastern Oklahoma Health Systems, and he can explain. We had some questions in Planning Commission about the facility, and he gives a great speech on what they offer and offer for our community.
Well, I don't know if it's a great speech, but I'm Scott Rosenthal with Northeastern Oklahoma Community Health Center. When I talked to the Planning and Zoning Committee this morning, we've actually been in Muskogee for 10 years. And when we talked to the group this morning, I think only 2 of the 10 people that were in the room knew that. Right now, we're at the corner of Hancock and York. We're a federally qualified health center that was started by Lyndon Johnson 60 years ago to help the medically underserved. So originally that was Medicare, Medicaid, and people that don't have health insurance. The program has since expanded to include people that have health insurance. But we offer family practice medicine. We've got a doctor, a nurse practitioner. With this growth, we're going to add a pediatrician. It's a single medical office unit building. Questions we had this morning, it's not urgent care, it's not a medical marijuana dispensary, it's not multiple practices, it's just the growth and hopefully the improvement of something that we've been in town for 10 years. When I became the CEO, the property we're at now, before me, they signed a 10-year lease with no out. We're kind of at that strip center behind Come and Go, where we're at the back of the Boomerang. So if you don't know we're there, you don't know we're there. So we've looked for this property to try to grow and see more patients in Muskogee. We've had tremendous growth in Muskogee over the last few years, especially after Dr. Ong's practice left the community. The nice thing about our group, besides Medicare, Medicaid, all kinds of commercial insurance, we have a sliding fee scale. So based on your income and your family size, you can qualify to see one of our doctors for as little as $20, and we'll take payments. So this is affordable, first-class medical care for everyone in the community. So I'd be glad to answer any questions. What we're going to build on is already zone commercial. It's the back part that's zone residential.
Okay, Well, thank you. I do open the public hearing. Any questions?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, might be recognized.
Yes.
I was just curious, how many doctors do you have?
Right now, I've got one doctor and one nurse practitioner that are full-time in Muskogee. We'd like to add another doctor, and that'd be a pediatrician. And then future growth, what we're building on the property can grow based on how large we grow in the community. Muskogee, we've actually got 14 locations in 4 counties in northeast Oklahoma. This year, we'll see almost 80,000 patients. I think we're the best kept secret in Muskogee, and we got to figure out how to do better. And we thought one of the reasons is buy a first-class property in a first-class location and build a facility that you'll all be proud of when you see this thing. When you see what's being built, we've actually got our contractor here. When you see what's being built, you'd think it would be built in Utica Square in Tulsa. It's going to be something you'll be proud of when you see it.
I'm glad to know this because,
Yeah,
like I
thank
said,
you.
we need more doctors
We do.
in Muskogee because I got an appointment in the morning. You know where I got to go? I got to go 10 miles up the road to Wagner to a heart doctor, because we don't have one here.
Yeah.
You know,
No,
so-
well, and like I said, we're here now, but people don't know we're here now. So we've got to do a better job of telling our story. This is one way of doing it. I think part of it's our location, and we're going to fix that with this location.
Turn the floor back over to you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
I think one of the avenues to pursue in terms of getting the word out is if we can have digital images of what is proposed, because it'll go a long way if we can help tell that story of the proposed medical improvements that we could expect here in Muskogee.
Sure. We'll get that to you.
Thank you.
You bet. Thank you all very much.
No one else has signed up to speak. Do y'all have any more questions? I close the public hearing.
Move for approval?
Second.
Roll call.
Tracy Hous.
Yes.
Tracy McGee.
Yes.
Stephanie Morgan.
Yes.
Alex Reynolds. Jamie Stout.
Yes.
Ivory Van.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed.
Yes.
Mayor Marlon Coleman.
Yes.
Item passes. Item number 3, please.
Hold a public hearing and consider approval of ordinance 4130A to rezone property addressed as 3329 South Cherokee Drive, being more particularly described in the ordinance from R1, Single Family Local Commercial, to I1, Light Industrial, and if approved, authorize staff to revise the official zoning map of the city to reflect said change or take other necessary action.
We will now open the public hearing. Ms. Callahan.
Thank you, Madam Chair and committee members. This is a request from, go back, the owner is Charles Yandel. The applicant is requesting, Wendy Qualls is requesting the rezoning from the R1 to the light industrial. And it was R1 single family as when it was annexed in a number of years ago. It always comes in as our single family zoning classification. And then in future development is when we bring it into the proper zoning classification. It is to allow for a new facility. She's calling it Sunshine 2. It is a nursery and retail store for gardening, landscaping. It's similar to Blossoms, which has gone out of business here in Muskogee, but her family has one in Tahlequah that is called Sunshine, and this will be the second facility, so they're calling it Sunshine 2. This is the location of the property. It's along South Cherokee between Highway 64 south of Peak. I did add this map. The yellow highlighted line shows you where the floodplain begins, so that really cannot be developed unless there's some extensive work done and floodplain permits and engineering for stormwater. So pretty much half of the property's not developable. The site itself is currently zoned single-family residential. It's vacant land. To the north is I-1 Light Industrial. It's Tower Inspections and National Steel Erectors Building. To the south is R1 Single Family, and this is taken from the south going north, showing it towards the north. So it is in the floodplain, and it is vacant land that really be difficult to develop. To the east is South Cherokee Drive. It's a planned unit development. It's the remaining portion of the golf course that's vacant. And then directly across is South Cherokee Drive, and then on across is still the planned unit development, or it's part of Hilldale High School or Hilldale School System. I'm not sure how much of that corner they have acquired. As I said, again, it's currently zoned R1 Single Family, requesting the I-1 Light Industrial. Staff and Planning Commission recommend approval. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Move.
No one has signed up on this item, so we're going to close the public hearing. Any discussion with the council?
Move for approval?
Roll call.
Tracy Hous.
Yes.
Tracy McGee.
Yes.
Stephanie Morgan.
Yes.
Alex Reynolds. Jamie Stout.
Yes.
Ivory Van.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed.
Yes.
Mayor Marlon Coleman.
Yes.
And the item passes. Item number 4, please.
Consider approval of the preliminary and final plat of Northeastern Oklahoma Community Health Centers Edition, consisting of one lot on 1.07 acres located at 922 North York Street, or take other necessary action.
Ms. Callahan.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This is the preliminary and final plat of the Northeastern Oklahoma Health Centers addition. It is to allow for the development of the medical center that was previously explained. It is 922 North York. It meets all of subdivision regulations, and staff and Planning Commission recommend approval. Be happy to answer any questions.
Any discussion with the council? Or do we have a motion?
Move for approval.
Roll call.
Tracy Hous.
Yes.
Tracy McGee.
Yes.
Stephanie Morgan.
Yes.
Alex Reynolds. Jamie Stout.
Yes.
Ivory Van.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed.
Yes.
Mayor Marlon Coleman.
Yes.
And the item passes. Item number 5, please.
Consider approval of the preliminary and final plat of Andrews Addition, consisting of one lot on 1.60 acres located at 567 East Smith Ferry Road, or take other necessary action.
Ms. Callahan.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Committee members, this is a request from Logan Andrews to plat 1.07 or 1.6 acres to allow for the development of a single-family dwelling. It's located there on Smith Ferry, just east of Gulick. This is the final plat. Subdivision Review Committee and staff and Planning Commission all recommend approval. Be
Move for
happy to answer
approval.
any questions.
Any discussion? Roll call.
Tracy Hous.
Yes.
Tracy McGee.
Yes.
Stephanie Morgan.
Yes.
Alex Reynolds. Jamie Stout.
Yes.
Ivory Van.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed.
Yes.
Mayor Marlon Coleman.
Yes.
And the item passes. Item number 6, please.
Consider approval of amended ordinance number 4127A, amending Chapter 22, Business Regulations, Section 22-677, Commercial Medical Marijuana Growing and/or Processing Facilities, subsection 22-677, modifying the permitted zoning classifications, adding Section 22-678, nonconforming use, adding Section 22-679, effect in existing and pending licenses, providing for repealer, severability, and setting an effective date, or take other necessary action.
Counselor Hous.
So, due to some feedback that we've been receiving, we're going to recommend to take no action tonight, and we're going to make arrangements for have staff direct to have a roundtable discussion with some of the council members, so we can make sure that we answer every question that people may have, that this ordinance may impact their industry, their livelihood, and make sure that you're heard, because the last thing we want to do is affect anyone's business. That's not what this is intention is. So at this time, we're just going to recommend take no action.
Okay. Thank you. We do have 4 people signed up. Do we have to? Yes. If y'all would like to speak, you can. Whenever I call your name, you can either come up and say your address, state your name and address.
One thing I did want to clarify, for purposes of what the plan is with the roundtables, is staff will work with the council to select a date that works for them, and then whenever we decide that date, we will put out a public notice so that individuals will know this is their opportunity to come and ask their questions and speak with the council.
Thank you.
So
Okay.
we'll put that notice out once we've selected a date.
Okay,
Thank you,
thank you. Matt Palmer. Rebecca Cook. You will have 5 minutes. Just state your name and your address.
Rebecca Cook, it's 420 North Main, and thank you for tabling it. I just wanted to say thank you for tabling it and giving us business owners the ability to speak to you on our behalf, because it's very important to our livelihood and our community. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Melinda. State your name and address, please.
Melinda Halliburton, 601 North 15th Street. I just wanted to come and speak on behalf of the industry and the people that we serve in the industry, and I'll just be present the next time we speak on this, so I'll just wait till then.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Adrian?
I needed to make a motion if she's going to speak.
Yes, we do have an exception.
A second.
Roll call, please.
Tracy Hous.
Yes.
Tracy McGee.
Yes.
Stephanie Morgan.
Yes.
Alex Reynolds. Jamie Stout.
Yes.
Ivory Van.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed.
Yes.
Mayor Marlon Coleman.
Yes.
Thank you. Item passes. Ms. Adrian, you have 5 minutes.
Adrian Mitchum, 717 West Broadway and 802 West Broadway. And we were just trying to make sure we're able to expand on the adjacent lots, and we wanted to know how the effective date will be determined for current license holders who are in the process of moving our business across the street, basically. So we just wanted to make sure we were heard.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Item number 7, please.
Consider approval confirming the county commissioner's appointment of Fred Hogle to the Muskogee City County Trust Port Authority to serve a 4-year term beginning August 30, 2021 and ending August 30, 2025, or take other necessary action.
Mr. Miller?
Yes, thanks, Madam Chair. The county commissioners did approve and appoint Mr. Hogle to serve on the Muskogee City County Trust Port Authority last month, and by form, they sent it to us for approval as well. The documentation is in your packets, and that's what I know about the subject. It is before you now for approval.
Thank you. Do we have a
Move for approval?
roll call, please? Any discussion? Roll call.
Tracy Hous.
Yes.
Tracy McGee.
Yes.
Stephanie Morgan.
Yes.
Alex Reynolds. Jamie Stout.
Yes.
Ivory Van.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed.
Yes.
Mayor Marlon Coleman.
Yes.
And the item passes. Item number 8, please.
Consider approval to direct staff to bring forward the necessary documents to facilitate the transfer of the city's economic development program to the Muskogee Redevelopment Authority, as well as create and populate a task force to prepare bylaws establishing the internal management structure and negotiate the transfer of any employees, all in furtherance thereof, or take other necessary action.
Ms.
Good
McGee?
Good afternoon, council. We also have this on the special call, so I'll move to special call unless anyone have anything to discuss.
Any discussion? No action taken. And we do have 2 citizens that signed up to speak. And whenever I call your name, just state your address and you will have 3 minutes. Mr. Brian Fuller.
Good evening, Mayor, Council.
Good evening.
Brian Fuller, 715 West Broadway. Actually, 102 North David Lane, apartment 203. I stated where got my equipment at. Sorry about that. I'm the president, as you know, of the International Association of Firefighters Local 57, and I'm here tonight to speak on the American Rescue Plan. I know you all have all been briefed on it and have been told that it could be used for infrastructure and broadband, but there was one part that was left out. It can be used for employees. It can be used for premium pay up to, I believe it's $13 an hour for addition to the regular pay. And it can be retro back all the way to when this COVID-19 pandemic started. And it can be used for hours worked for future as well, up to including $25,000 per employee. Now, we're not saying that you have to give us the whole $25,000. That would be nice. I realize that y'all are getting $6 million and some change. But what I'm asking here tonight is do not leave your employees out. We worked through the pandemic all the way from, and I don't speak for any other union but my own, but all the way from the Parks Department, they work, the Trash Department, the City Water Department, the firemen, the police, all the way to City Hall, all the way to your city manager right here behind me and the city attorney sitting beside him. What I'm asking this council is when that comes up, we will be back, and we will be back very soon. And we're asking, do not forget your employees. We're on the job, we've been on the job, and we're going to stay on the job. Fire and police cannot strike. We don't want to, but we can't strike, and we never have. It's against the law. But I'm asking y'all, do not forget your employees. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Fuller. Next, we have Miss Jamie Stout. You have 3 minutes.
Jamie Stout, 319 Kingsway. I just wanted to wish David and Sue Vanderver a happy retirement and thank them for their 43 years of service with Cowboys Barbecue here in Muskogee, and we wish them best in their retirement. Thank you.
Thank you. This meeting is adjourned.
We will now call to order the special call meeting for the Muskogee City Council for September 20th, 2021. Roll call.
Mayor Marlon Coleman.
Here.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed.
Here.
Ivory Van.
Here.
Jamie Stout.
Here.
Evelyn Hibbs. Alex Reynolds. Stephanie Morgan.
Here.
Tracy McGee.
Here.
Tracy Hoos.
Here. Item number 1.
Consider approval to direct staff to bring forward the necessary documents to facilitate the transfer of the city's economic development program to the Muskogee Redevelopment Authority, as well as create and populate a task force to prepare bylaws establishing the internal management structure and negotiate the transfer of any employees, all in furtherance thereof, or take other necessary action.
Councilor McGee.
Good evening once again. I bring forth this item to the council asking that we take action on this tonight. So I move for approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second on this item. Any discussion from the council? Roll call.
Tracy Hoos.
Yes.
Tracy McGee.
Yes.
Stephanie Morgan.
Yes.
Alex Reynolds. Jamie Stout.
Yes.
Ivory Van.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed.
Yes.
Mayor Marlon Coleman.
Yes. The item passes. Item number 2.
Mayor, if I may.
Yes.
This agenda item also included the creation and population of a task force. And so we would request, staff would request that a subsequent motion be made to determine who's going to serve on that task force.
I don't think we know that tonight.
Okay.
I think we need to give this some thought before we just start populating people on the task force.
Okay. So this is something at another point we'll need to bring up then.
Yes.
To populate and get the officials.
Yes.
And so basically what this will do, just to clarify, will give us the direction to move forward in preparing the necessary documents that were articulated in the 7-step process that Councilor McGee outlined at the last meeting.
Very well.
Thank you.
The motion passed as presented. Item number 2.
Consider approval to award bids for mowing projects within the city of Muskogee or take other necessary action.
Mr. Miller.
Yes, as we've discussed, the city council did request that we put out all our mowing projects, all our mowing for the city out to bid earlier this summer. That has taken place. Those bids are all inside your packet. The first things, though, that we have are the recommendations of staff. We talked somewhat in committee about what those are. There are about 12 properties, and the visual outlines of what those properties are included, just to be clear what they are. This is a very significant addition of resources to mowing for city properties, including rights-of-way and parks. So be happy to answer any questions. We do recommend approval of the awarding the mowing contracts as listed in the attachment.
Thank you, Mr. Miller. Any discussion from the council?
I'm sorry, can I throw in one quick question on this?
Certainly.
So you said that this will extend to next mowing season?
So what we'd anticipate is this allows us to get through June 30th, which is our fiscal year. Then next spring, we would continue that and we would budget appropriately. This is an unbudgeted item this year. This will allow us to include it in next year's budget. We'll be able to evaluate after a full mowing season next year. So yes, the short answer is we do anticipate these contracts going until about this time next year when the mowing slows down. Then next year, when we've had kind of a whole mowing season to look at it, we'll evaluate. What do we want to do? Do we want to do, did it work well? Did it not? Do we want to look at different properties? Since this is the first time, I don't anticipate that it'll be perfect, and we may tweak it as we go. But this would allow us to get through this fiscal year as well as be able to budget for next fiscal year as well at the appropriate time when we go into our budget cycle.
How much more time do we have in the cycle?
It depends on how much more rain, how much more rain we might get, how much more sun we might get. But I feel like we probably don't have a whole lot more that we're going to do this fall.
Right, but it'll pick up back up in March
But
or whatever.
in March and April and May and June, these contractors will be prepared and on board to do these properties.
Since that time has gotten to that point on us, do we need to put in the amount of money that we projected? I'm looking at, we don't know what kind of state we'll be in when the year rolls around, and we may have, the reason we got here is because we couldn't fill the staffing. Hopefully next year we'll be in a better position.
Mm-hmm.
By no means I don't want to delay it, but I'm just wondering, we anticipated spending this amount of money, but our season has gotten down to the very end.
Yes, and so what these estimates are for a partial year. So there's two columns here on your sheet.
It is, okay.
And so the one column is totals up to about $142,000. That will get us through June 30th. And then what we anticipate is when we get to next budget season, we know that if we mow for a whole 12 months, that we will need more money than that, and we'll be able to budget that appropriately at that time. Because in April, May, June, we put our city budget together, and then we'll be able to plan for a full 12-month cycle and budget a whole amount. But I think it is timely now to award this bid so that the contractor is ready and prepared. The contractors, there are two that are being awarded, that those are awarded appropriately, and they're ready to go when the grass starts growing in the spring. And we'd love to have them if we get late growth this season to help us out this fall as well.
That was going to be my follow-up question, that the way we're presenting this now, if it's approved, we do have the flexibility to identify any spots between now going on, regardless of where the season ends. Is that
Yes,
correct?
yes, I believe that's absolutely correct.
Thank you. Further discussion from the council?
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, if I could recognize.
Yes, Mr. Van.
I told you last meeting that I was going out and look at this work these contractors done. I talked to both contractors, real nice gentlemen. They told me where they cut the grass, so I went. All the different locations they gave me. Took me a little while, but I went. I know I didn't have to, but when I'm voting on something up here, I've learned by being a city councilor up here, is you just don't give somebody something. You make sure you go look at what they're doing. And trust me, I looked at what they did, and I was well pleased. I know y'all have to go on my word, but I was well pleased because they definitely had the lawns mowed nice, neat, edged, everything. So that's why I go out, just like those houses, like Mr. Tish is talking about, the $20,000 houses. That's why I went and looked at those, because that's our money. We need to get out in our community. That's what people put us up here in this seat for, is to go look and get involved. And I do my best as a councilman up here to go look and be involved. And I'm going to say this. One thing I seen today on Martin Luther King, that if we just took our time a little more on Martin Luther King, they wouldn't be digging out these spots of dirt that they was, where the grass is near the edge of the road. Going down Martin Luther King, I said to myself, they're finding, I guess they're going to get ready to put concrete like they should have. That was a mistake that we done. For the councilmen that don't know, that wasn't up here when this was going on. That's what I say. As councilman and mayor, we should get out. And the mayor, I know you do, and other councilmen up here do. But we as a council and mayor, we need to go out and look at what's going on these projects. So I'm definitely pleased on the mowing people. They was, like I said, they were very polite and courteous. And so I'll turn the floor back over to you, Mr. Mayor.
Mr. Van, will you make the second?
I'll make the second.
We have a motion and a second. Do we have any other discussion from the council? Roll call.
Tracy Hous.
Yes.
Tracy McGee.
Yes.
Stephanie Morgan.
Yes.
Alex Reynolds. Jamie Stout.
Yes.
Ivory Van.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed.
Yes.
Mayor Marlon Coleman.
Yes. That will bring this meeting to an end. We are adjourned.